Apparently, Lot is that guy. And Morris has indicated that Lot has a number of other identities that are associated with deity status. So we're going to check that out. So apparently, Lot has been identified as Allat. And of course, it makes sense that Lot would have these various identities given the fact that his name means cover and veil. And so you have this indication of being concealed, you have this indication of having personas and facades. And so it should be expected that we will find Lot in a number of spaces, a number of places, with a number of names and a number of associations. So let's get started with this one. And so if you would like to, you can look at this family genogram that includes Lot and a number of family members. It's a very interesting genogram. They are a very connected group of people. Now this is the second portion of the genogram, and so this goes under what you just saw. One thing that you will note when you look at this genogram is that there is significant inbreeding going on with respect to this collective, this family group. So we're just going to look at what John Morris has indicated. As you recall, John Morris has done this extensive expose on the people of Shem. And of course, John Morris seems to have some issue with the people of Shem based upon some of the narratives in the text. However, there are many important pieces in there that should be analyzed and should be considered and taken seriously. And so we're just going to look at this assertion by Morris. There are others that indicate this, of course, that Lot is essentially this deity, this Arabian deity, known as Lat, and that's the LAT version. You also see this indication in the Hindu with Lot being Lord. Now this text, as you recall, is from the 1800s, and here you see this discussion about the name Lot and the various transliterations of Lot. And so we're just going to be looking at this discrete section of the transliterations for Lot. And you can see here that Lot is also associated with this idea of enchantments and magicians of Egypt. And so of course this makes sense when you consider Lot's descendant. Now, of course, one might say, what does Lot have to do with Allat? Because Allat is supposed to be a female and Lot is supposed to be a male. However, given the construct of Lot having these multiple identities, anything is possible in terms of analyzing Lot and in terms of assertions about Lot's identity and these deity dynamics related to Lot. Now, the BBC did a very interesting article related to the Museum of Lost Objects and this lion of Allat. And what they indicated was that Allat was this pre-Islamic female deity that was popular throughout Arabia. And this name Allat is, of course, tied to the name Allah. What you also see here is that there was an inscription that was found that indicated, "May Allat bless whoever does not spill blood on this sanctuary." There is a relationship between Allat and this idea of a sacrifice, and we're going to look at that. Also looking at the new nation, you can see that in India, again, and in Arabic, that Lat, Lata, is associated with this idea of sprinkling. And let's just look really quickly at this Oxford reference with respect to Allat. And what's interesting about this spelling of Allat, this A-L and then the hyphen and then L-A-T, is that when you looked in Strong's Concordance, you might have also noted that there was a symbol associated with Lot's name, and it indicated the Lot, which is of course similar to this, indicating the Lot. What's indicated here in the Oxford reference is that There were a number of these pre-Islamic goddesses that were worshipped at the Kaaba in Mecca, and this was prior to the rise of Islam. And so you have this goddess name that many have attributed to the idea of the daughter of Allah. There's also this interesting caveat that actually ties to Lat that indicates that in addition to being perceived as the daughter of Allah, there are some instances when Allat is understood as the consort of Allah. Now, there appears to have been some iconoclasm going on with respect to this particular idol because the figure that was representing her was destroyed in the 7th century through conquest in Mecca. Britannica also offers some information related to Allat. When you look at the pronunciation, however, it looks like Al-Lat. Britannica goes into this Allat dynamic a bit more, indicating that Allat was a North Arabian goddess and that there was a sacred cult associated with Allat and related to the stone cube that was near Mecca. Allat also had two sisters, two sister deities, one whose name was associated with this construct of strong and one associated with the idea of fate. She was also recognized by the prophet initially, her and the other goddesses, but eventually there was again this process of iconoclasm, and so they were sort of written out of the religious history. Now it would be interesting to find out the relationship between the Yoruba and Allat, given the history of the Yoruba and Mecca, and the history indicating that the Yoruba were moved out of Mecca because of pagan practices. And so you see additional information about sanctuaries associated with Allat in this particular area. And also there was a relationship between this worship of Allat in Mecca and Syria. And as we can see, Lat is quickly earning the titles associated with the award tour. Lat has many identities, and this is just the beginning in terms of the identities of Lat. And so now you have Lat with deity status in the form of Allat. And so he has been again elevated to this lordship status, this goddess status, and also associated with this lion. Now it's noted that this is unusual for a deity to be associated with this lion, but Allat is associated with this lion. This takes us into Western Europe, where Lot's name is associated with Lothian. We're not going to get into that now, but Lothian is also associated with the lion and lioness. Okay, so Lot truly is that guy. So we see that Lot means cover, means veil, means shroud, means conceal, means duplicity, essentially. And we also have Lot being understood as the king, as the crown, as the corona, the head, the big person in charge. And now we have not only this king man, but now we have almost a god king or a goddess king dynamic going on here. So we have Lot achieving deity status. And we also have Lot associated with almost simultaneously paganism and monotheism in this form of Allat. And we also have Lot associated with not only Mecca, but Western Europe and Africa. And so it's interesting to note that Lot is associated with the name origin of Africa, and we're going to revisit that. But it's also interesting to consider what's the relationship between Lot and the Yoruba specifically. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.